GameStop shares have soared over 1,600% so far this year.
What you make of the whole GameStop situation as you've been watching it unfold for these last couple of weeks?
Is this still the epic short squeeze of short squeezes?
So let's take a look at all these different factors. Why is GameStop up 700%?
Retail traders aren't just taking on hedge funds, they're also trying to take them down.
We have some breaking news right now on what has turned into the soap opera and saga of the markets right now, and that is the story of GameStop.
We have seen a massive surge in the stock price of GameStop. Explain to us what is happening here.
And the Hollywood side of me is what everybody's kind of puzzled about. They see Hollywood shenanigans on like the stock and, you know, Twitter and funny things and memes and cute stuff, but they haven't really seen me do what we do. And it's also very hard for them to even imagine, because there's no track record of what I'm even talking about, because we've been doing it. I've been doing this for like years with the clients, right? So things like Jungle Book, like when you're part of like, you know, that's a $20-30 million situation, or Marvin Gaye, a $15 million situation. When I'm there from day one and I'm dealing with the investors, and then we're writing and putting the packaging together. Like people don't know, like the Michael Jackson tribute, that's 1.4 million spent in Vegas, but I'm there from minute one putting the whole thing together with Monster Cables, the guys who did Beats by Dre. And I'm there with Noel Lee, the head of it. So when you're doing that, like people don't know that, you know, like I'm with the head of Noel. And if I'm with the heads of like, you know, if I'm there with the head of television for Sony and we're going over like certain IP that they're about to acquire, and then next year you see Jamie Foxx in it. Yeah. We're like, but you can't do the reality show on that. So now you take all that knowledge and that experience, I've seen a lot of money wasted. I have, not going to mention names, but I've seen a lot of money I've seen a lot of money get spent, you know, and sometimes you learn what to do by learning what not to do. Yep. And that's the reason why I started so low that it's almost sometimes unbelievable when people say, what are you doing? And then now my relationships get to come into play. Yeah. And so people think they're excited now. I don't want to say anything really like, oh, watch what's going to happen next. But this is only still the opening credits.
Okay, man. Finally, we got Big M Entertainment in the house. None other than Marvin himself. Marvin, thank you so much once again for you blessing us with your time for this interview. Obviously, I couldn't be happier because things are really going haywire right now. So we got to tackle these things right away. People want to know what's going on. So Marvin, bring us up to speed from the last time we spoke with regards to obviously the newer projects, the IPs as we call them in the biz, right? Tell us a little about that.
Well, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for having me back again, because, you know, it's always a pleasure. And absolutely. If we look at the timeline from the last interview we had to today, obviously some things have happened. And there's a lot of excitement out there, right? So
yes,
I'm happy
you
about
could
that.
say that in the very, very least, in a super humble way.
I've had years and years and years to sit down with real executives who really want to monetize IP. And I hear from them and their wishful thinking of how projects are riskier than others. And what I think we did is, or I did especially, is I paid a lot of attention to people who have to spend a lot of money to make someone else's dream come true. Mm-hmm. So let's just say I'm pitching you and you're the guy with a $50 million purse for whatever studio. Okay. And I come in with my dream. Somehow I'm forgetting that I'm asking you to put $50 million behind my dream.
Right, now, right.
I'm in the room. It's the best thing since sliced bread. Let's go. Right? It's bigger than Avatar. I'm going crazy, right? The one thing I'm forgetting is that while I'm over here with maybe 5 cents in my pocket, I'm asking you for 50 million real dollars. It's and true. You have real shareholders and a real head of the studio and real things going on. And if you mess up, your head is rolling and I'm still at the party. Because even when I'm on a $50 million film, I still have the baddest party in Hollywood going for a few years. You get what I'm saying? So
How many projects have you brought on board since the last time we spoke? Or what's happened with the projects? Because you have so many projects.
Well, excuse me. I love the fact that you've asked that question because there's two answers to that question. The first answer is right now on the slate, there are 10. right? Roughly 10 there, right? We have 2 in post-production.
Yep.
That's treated and captured, right?
Yeah.
Finishing. We have 2 starting. From the scripts have basically been ordered. So we're going to, the scripts, then we're going into production. Those are 2. And then we have 6 more, which will I classify as, various levels of the production cycle. So we say various levels of development, which means they're not in script, they're not in production, but there's 6 right here. Okay. Now, what the second part of that question is, I don't even want to talk about the amount of IP we really have. What this is I'm allowing people to see the 10. These computers hold more than 10 projects, right? Yeah. They hold a few more. So what we're doing is with these 10, we're looking at the distribution cycle. And another beautiful thing about the first 2 projects, Trees and Captured, they've already attracted organic interest. And when I say organic interest, that means I haven't started marketing these films out to distributors. We haven't paraded them. We haven't went on that, dog and pony show, if you will. These are people who are finding us through the Internet of Things, the digital universe, and who are interested in what we are doing. But at the same time, if you look at the project and you see the company, distributors also have to make a decision too. Do they want to engage that company? Yes. Do they want to be in business with this brand? And so for us, we've been very humbled by the fact that, not saying that we've closed those deals, we're just happy that the interest and the awareness is coming this way versus us chasing it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's also very great.
I love it. Technical question real quick here, because you talked about how you got more than 10 projects behind you on those computers, right? Okay, so since we're alluding to this technical stuff, let's just shoot out right now. Or are you guys using a render farm to get all your big projects rendered, right? Because obviously that's where all of your time gets eaten up and chewed up by the computers, right? You make all these special effects happen, and it's just like absolutely crazy. It could take, months to render out a scene.
Well,
or it used to, anyways.
Good question. I think Trees was shot all in camera. The funny part about Trees is I might actually put in the Trees movie a complete CG scene and see if people can spot it. I might do that. I've been thinking about it. To say
that's cool.
I have a couple of surprises for Trees that are on different dimensions.
Yes.
I don't even want to talk about Trees right now because Trees is like the little train that could. But by the time you see what Trees really is, I think, and I'm going to be conservative, they might just be, there might be a surprise or two that was unexpected in Trees, right? And not just from the work itself, but when we look at Trees is 100% what we call in camera. So basically we'll shoot it, it's all in camera. We're our DIT, we're flashing it to the computers, into the drives, and we're editing it in systems like this that you see behind here. And these can chunk away because like this machine right here, that's one of my custom babies. So I've just
so that's got like hundreds of gigs of RAM. Yeah. It's got a lot.
Yeah, like that one has a minimum 128. And that's my little baby right there. So this one right here,
that's really good.
I got an RGB light show going on with it. That's my buddy. When I get bored, I do this.
What?
When I get bored,
sick.
I change color and say, Hamar, what do we want to do? So I'll tweet.
That's cool, man. I love that.
So I programmed all of our different profiles in there. So I did that. And that was easy. That's fun. But that machine right there, from like the GPU standpoint, great. From the CPU standpoint, cool. From the motherboard standpoint, I mean, that's my little baby. And it's not a little baby like it's a little baby. It can go. The laptops that we carry also are graphics intensive.
So like 32 gig RAMs?
64 minimum. So at the end of the day, what ends up happening is I'm on the road.
What laptops are you using for that? That's not Apple, is it?
They haven't paid us yet, Ali.
You can't. Oh man, is it Sager? Just tell me, man. I'm dying to know.
Okay, this thing goes to Ali, my past as a techie. I'm an avid gamer, right?
Yes. It's a gamer's laptop. That's why I said Sager. That's what I have.
We're gonna have the GPU power because I can have the laptops with us in like say Miami, right?
Because if you got 64 gigs on you, let me tell you, honestly, you could do some pretty heavy crunching pretty good at a pretty good rate. I mean, unless you're gonna get obviously not Avengers like not Marvel stuff, but you know what I mean.
I've seen these tweets go around the space a little bit right now, inquiring about the IP and who owns what and blah, blah, blah. We own everything we do. So we create it in-house, and inject it into the system, work on it, and then we get going. So no, the machines, if you want to kind of like, that's one thing I've always understood even from tech. If you want to be best of breed, you got to kind of be custom from the beginning.
Yes,
so even if
absolutely.
You can come on, anybody can do what we're doing, so to speak, but you got to understand computing architecture, right? You got to understand the usage and the value of software. Right.
It's very involved. It's in many layers. This is not something I would never recommend this for someone that's not really well versed. And even then you have to have a team. It's not a one-man show here. Nothing like that happens. You have to have a team of solid pros that truly get it. And so, because you have to synergize. And so you have to integrate multi different systems. You know, it's a multi-system integration. It's just not a joke. Would you ever in your wildest dreams have thought that you'd be behind a company that it's like a rocket speed? I mean, when you're looking at the chart, I think I saw the stock honestly up over 900% in one single session. And then it never came back. It just kept rocketing up another 150, 200%. And I was just like, okay, wait. Something is seriously going on, because I look at a lot of equities, okay? And I was also looking at the cannabis stuff going on. You guys are blowing up alongside the cannabis explosion, I guess, for lack of a better term. And so I'm like, is this WSB craze part of that? I was trying to figure out what I'm seeing in front of me unfold, because I saw some Twitter people saying that this is already changing my life, the equity itself, that I saw somebody say that they just paid off their college tuition for their kids. That to me was said it all. I was completely freaked out by that. Let me tell you, I don't see that very often. And that was like whoa moment for me, a real wow moment.
It was everything for us. But you got to realize, Ali, what is it? It's a great team effort. Number one. Yes. You're included in that effort. Because like I said, you've had your support, and we've had our interviews with you, and we'll have more. We're hoping that this journey continues like this, and we keep impacting.
Where's the market cap right now? Do you know the market cap? Did you even look at that?
About a quarter billion.
Oh my goodness, this is absolutely ridiculous. It was $1 million like a few months back. It
was.
That's incredible, my brother. Hats off.
I think it's everybody doing their job. It's the guys doing their job over here. Of course, I know everybody wants to understand about what we're doing, and I hate to open up the can of worms with the restructuring, right? But everybody doing their job. So, we want the name change to happen. We want the information on the restructuring to be out there. I kind of I have to stay in my zone on my island. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. You're the creative, and that's where we need you. That's where the company needs you. That's where the investors need you.
Yeah.
Because you're the mastermind here. Let's face it. You have the whole program, and you're controlling it. And it's right behind you. We can even see it. The intellectual stuff.
It is. And the funny part about it is I do it for our shareholders. I do it for people like yourself. For everybody we know. When we saw the messages come in that the company has already changed people's lives, that's what I would tell people, that the film community, we sometimes don't do, because it's just structured a certain way. So like the Avengers movie or Transformers, I love them to death. I love those IPs. Say Top Gun 2's coming out. Yes. But the average stranger, I don't know how much they're going to be impacted by, say, the success of Avatar, unless they're buying the parent company's stock, which is cool. But I think what ends up happening here is you have kind of like this grassroots company almost selling films out of the trunk, right? That's on the OTC that has the excitement. You have an engaging CEO. You have an engaging back office that goes toward too. Yeah. I don't mind doing what I'm doing on the front end and doing the creative. It gives them the reason to go boom, boom, boom. And then what you end up happening is I think you get a great group effort. Then when the shareholders get excited, traders, and then we get these different layers of trading going on, then all I'm saying is we don't know what will happen. We just know we try to set up the potential for something to happen.
When is the next release that we can expect?
The next release.
Do we have any dates right now? Prospective dates on for example, the horror flick right there.
Well, this is the funny thing. I think that the enthusiasm out there in the trading community, right, has been so great that it's overshadowed, what we're doing in terms of like with the productions, right?
There's a frenzy. There is a frenzy right now.
But what we're doing is like, I don't really, as much as there's a frenzy, I don't necessarily work for that. I work to support it the best we can, right? But I also know where there's a lot of truth in the IP, in the relationships with distribution, how everybody's getting chummy, what we're doing to shore up things, just as a business. If we weren't in the OTC, Ali, I still have to do the same thing, which is encourage distributors to take a look, give them what they need sample-wise. We are lucky because I am recognized by a couple of different houses as, someone who's dealt with other projects in post. So they know that when I'm just saying, hey, we want to add this or add that, we're not just wasting time, if you will. I'm really trying to better the product overall, right? Because we didn't really come into this funded. We didn't come in this business with $500 million or $1 billion or 200 million or 50 million. We were literally bootstrapping it. Yes. But at the same time, getting attention. So even though we might have a small budget on a project, I'm still trying to make sure that it still comes out the best way possible. Now, with all the frenzy, is there a lot more talk of a lot more money for the projects? Of course there is.
That's incredible. You're literally showing the new way of raising funds and accessing capital for projects. This is kind of like, I look at you as like a harbinger of this is going to be the way things are going to go in the next decade. I just think you're really ahead by about a decade because you caught on and you understand the whole concept around it. But it takes a lot more than that. You can't do it without super good quality stuff. So your content is the bottom line. This year, are you guys planning on? So basically, because you already told me that you have now obviously 10 plus stuff you're not really divulging.
We have an unknown number X.
What kind of expansion kind of phase are we looking at, though? When is that going to happen? Big expansion? Is that in the works?
I think even the first project, Trees, and I keep saying Trees because Trees is like, it's metaphoric. It's synonymous with just, it's
being planted and rooted.
It's trees, they grow. It's a seed and it grows. And Trees, the first project, I think is going to prove how we can take something very, very small. It's going to prove it because I know what we're doing with it. But it's going to prove this because of certain things we already have behind it that I'm not going to speak of because we still want to. Let's just say they're not signed yet. Let's just say that, right?
Okay.
I don't want people go out there and buy the stock and say, "Oh, Trees is going to come out like Godzilla." I didn't say that. I just said we're working on componentry to make it better. But even Trees, the first project out the gate has things that are surprises. So when you say like expansion, this, that, and the other, during this process, you saw the UK office open, right? By guys.
That's right. I saw that. Matter of fact, I was like, wait, well, what's going on here? Talk about that.
I'll tell you what's going on here. The UK office was formulated by people who know me, know other parts of the company, who are very excited. And when they talk to their people in their territories, they want to be a part of it. So we were kind of to put that address on there because they kept coming to me like, we want to help you raise money in these territories, as these films go. People, of course, want to see the first film come out. People right now, simply for me, want to see if we can even have the first film, Trees or whatever, get out of these dang computers, right?
Yes.
And the computers over here and whatever we have in the cloud, they want to see them simply come out. Now, we want that too.
Yes.
Away from being on the OTC, that's all I wanted, personally. Right.
Yes.
So the shareholders have to know that their desire is also my desire just as a person.
Yes.
We're on the exact same page. So if there's any doubt to them that they want to see things come out, well, guess what? Marvin Williams wants a career here. So I have to have stuff come out. It's in my best interest. It's like saying that you're betting on Michael Jordan to play basketball, but realizing Michael Jordan wants to be the best ever. Or you're saying, oh, we pray that Tom Brady wants to throw a pass. Well, Tom Brady wants to throw the pass anyway. So
Right.
Yeah, not to put me in the, it could be like, forget when sometimes we get.
But that's very abundantly clear what you're making an excellent point. You need to let people, they need to understand what this means. You're not going to touch a project that you're not going to see through. So it will be seen through. And because you're Marvin Williams and you already have the proven track record, it just has to be the right time and the right everything.
People got to realize even where my name Showtime came from. That comes from Dionne Warwick's son, because I was just so graphic heavy and video-y. He's working on Fame the movie. He's working on stuff with like Christina Aguilera and
wow.
He was working with Britney Spears and doing some stuff. But I remember sitting in the studio when he was working on Fame, and I kept throwing stuff up in the studio, and he's like, "Where's Showtime?" And I was like, okay. So I just
that's so cool, man.
So
I love that.
I don't want people to think that I'm an egomaniac and I just sat back one day and I'm like, I should be Showtime. No, the nickname came from a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Right? And he happens to be
happens to be a monster celebrity himself. No big deal.
Oh, no. Dame is my guy. I remember when MGM did Fame. And I remember what people don't realize, it was unreleased, so I can't put this on my credit. But people don't even realize that I co-directed and co-wrote Dionne Warwick's documentary called Black Pearl. But that's not on IMDb. It didn't come out. We can't put it there. But there was another group on the East Coast that had their side. We had our side, and we actually covered her Grammy induction into the Grammy Hall of Fame with CNN and Fox, and everybody else was there. So
that's great,
we've done things that we've been credited for, non-credited for. We've ghosted in a good way, not ghosting people.
No, I get it. Yeah. Ghost editing, ghost, yes.
Yeah, so, and then when you sit in enough meetings and then you see how guys are simply passionate and they want to drive a project forward, we picked those tools up, brought them into this company.
Okay.
And this is what it is now.
Okay, so you got real driven people behind this.
Yeah, we have executives who have helped me along the way. No need to mention them now. It's not the right time and point and place in time. Okay. Things will be revealed as we go, because remember, there's a real career here, mine, really involved with this company. So even if, let's just say tomorrow, God forbid, we're not trading.
Yeah. You
can meet me in LA at a studio, and we're going to talk about movie, no matter what.
Yes.
No matter what.
Do you have anything else to say that you think that, the viewers need to hear? Or are we just ready to cut our ties for this meeting until next time?
Well, I think the last thing I want to say is that, Big M Entertainment is proud to be a very popular stock on the OTC. I think we're good for the country. I think we're good for the economy. I think we're here trying to innovate and be excellent on the OTC. And that doesn't mean we're perfect today. I'm saying these are things that we're striving for. So when you think of Big M Entertainment, we're trying to innovate. We're trying to be excellent. We're not going to hit all of our marks all the time. Who does? But I'll tell you one thing, as I see on Twitter and as I see in the work and as I see me with you right now,
yes,
we can be celebrating over 3 days and we're at work right now. We're striving for the best. And even if we don't hit our marks, you know that tomorrow, Ali, what do you know I'll be doing? I'll be 150% going after it. So even if I hit a 40% mark, people can throw the rotten tomatoes and they can do this, that. We're going to be giving a 150% effort. And like I told you, worst comes to worst, we'll start selling tomato juice and we'll just book that on the books too.
I'm okay with that, my friend. I'm okay. That's real value.
We're gonna bottle and sell something.
Exactly. No, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, Marvin, thank you so much for your time. Until next time.
Ali, I'm looking forward to next time.
All right, brother.
There you go.
Shakalaka boom boom boom, girl you cause confusion when you walk in the room. Boom, shakalaka boom boom boom, girl you cause confusion when you walk in the room. Boom, shakalaka boom boom boom, girl you cause confusion when you